If you were to hear these curious statements being uttered by a fellow wrestling fan at a live event, or saw these incoming details pop up on Twitter, you'd no doubt call BS on the seemingly made-up fact. No matter how fake these statements may appear, however, rest assured that the compelling WWE data heading your way is in no way a lie. Because I am Gareth here from What Culture Wrestling, and here are 10 fascinating WWE facts that sound fake, but will blow your mind. Number 10, Steve Austin has had an equal amount of wrestling and non-wrestling WrestleMania appearances. Before he popped up at WrestleMania 38 and opened up many a can of whoop-ass on his decrepit nemesis Kevin Owens and Austin Theory, the legendary Stone Cold Steve Austin had actually managed to rack up a rather surprising record at the show of shows. By the time he called it quits as an in-ring worker in 2003, the Texas Rattlesnake had performed a respectable 7 times on the grandest stage, main eventing the biggest show WWE has to offer on 3 occasions. In the years that would follow said retirement, though, Austin would go on to appear at Mania in a non-wrestling role a further 7 times, heading into the 38th showcase of the Immortals. He would then technically pop up twice at Mania 38, wrestling on night 1 and simply unleashing hell on night 2. But whether you opt to split those appearances up or not, the fact the biggest star in WWE history's Mania appearances in a non-wrestling capacity are either almost or very much equal to his amount of iconic displays as an in-ring worker still seems utterly far-fetched. However, all those years of showing up to briefly raise hell and leave on the biggest night on the wrestling calendar have made this fake-sounding stat a reality. Number 9, either Dolph Ziggler or The Miz have been in every SummerSlam IC Championship match since 2009. Throughout Dolph Ziggler and The Miz's largely unbroken spells as sports entertainers, the lads have held the Intercontinental Championship on 14 occasions, with the A-lister lifting it 8 times and the show-off being a 6-time IC champ. The long-time mid-card duo have also collided over the strap at numerous points over the years, and one of said battles went down at SummerSlam in 2014. But did you know that Ziggler's victory over Miz that night actually came in the thick of a rather unbelievable run for the two WWE stalwarts? Jumping back to 2009, Ziggler competed for the IC title in a match against Rey Mysterio on the night. Since that moment, the legendary mid-card belt hasn't appeared at the biggest party of the summer in a match that didn't boast either Dolph or Miz. Even when it wasn't technically defended at SummerSlam 2017, Miz showed up as champ in a 6-man tag bout with his Miztourage against the Hardy Boys and Jason Jordan. It is worth noting that the belt hasn't even shown up at the event in the last 4 years though. SummerSlam 2023 will finally see this fascinating 14-year run come to an end with a typically epic Gunter defense. Number 8, Brock Lesnar is the only WWE champion in the last decade to never be in a stable. If you want to reach the very top of the sports entertainment mountain, you're probably going to need a little help along the way. Unless your name is Brock Lesnar, that is. In fact, in a stat that feels pretty unbelievable, the Beast Incarnate actually ranks as the only WWE champion of the last decade to never call himself a member of a stable while dominating within the company. Absolutely every other WWE champion to lift the strap from 2013 onwards has spent at least some time as part of a successful or disastrous group at one point or another. Even the mighty John Cena technically spent time as a member of Nexus and the Crime Time C-Nation. And no, I cannot remember that last one either. Sure, he may have had Paul Heyman by his side to offer the occasional assist, but history still shows that this former UFC heavyweight champion is incredibly the only WWE champion of the last 10 years to not sport matching t-shirts with a few in-ring allies. Number 7, Devon Dudley never appeared in the Royal Rumble. It didn't matter that he spent years as one half of one of the most dominant and iconic tag units ever to grace a WWE ring. Devon Dudley somehow still made it to the end of his in-ring career without ever once appearing in the 30-person spectacle that is the Royal Rumble. Now, the eventual Reverend would at least pop up on the event at numerous points from 2000 to 2004, but said appearances usually involved him battling in tag team action rather than the titular over-the-top rope bout. And despite longtime pal slash teammate Bubba Ray getting the chance to shine in the match as a surprise entrance in 2015, Devon ultimately joined the likes of Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Scott Hall as WWE stars to shockingly never once run down the ramp and enter the Rumble. This year's men's version of the bout did ultimately see a 57-year-old Booker T surprisingly enter the madness at 21, of course. So who knows, maybe a 50-year-old Devon will be offered the chance to finally put a long-awaited tick in the Royal Rumble match box in the coming years too. Number 6, Batista is actually older than Triple H. Described as being the future of WWE, alongside fellow Evolution pal Randy Orton by The Game all the way back in 2003, Batista evidently possessed all the potential to eventually challenge his mentor Triple H at the top of the card. What is often overlooked, however, is the fact that Big Dave wasn't actually as as fresh as he appeared during those early days of dominance for the undeniably successful faction. Whereas the Legend Killer was a good decade younger than the Cerebral Assassin, the Animal was actually a few months older than the eventual head of WWE Creative. Given that Batista's entire rise from Evolution muscle to bona fide main eventer revolved around the Star of Tomorrow having to eventually topple his wise old master, the fact he was actually 6 months Triple H's senior still seems too bizarre to be true to this day. But it undoubtedly is, folks. Number 5, Sonia DeVille hasn't won a single one-on-one match since May 2020. Things appeared to finally be clicking for both Sonia DeVille and Mandy Rose back in the summer of 2020, with the former Fire and Desire pals' blood feud eventually leading to a SummerSlam loser leaves town no disqualification match. Before that though, DeVille had already scored a victory over her one-time mate on the May 8th edition of Smackdown. Little did Sonia know that this would actually sit as her last singles victory for quite some time. At this exact moment of recording, DeVille is remarkably still yet to score a win in one-on-one competition ever since, despite regularly appearing on Raw and SmackDown in matches against the likes of Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair, and Raquel Rodriguez. The fact she's not even come away with a DQ singles victory on TV for over 3 years is absolutely mad. Now, there was a year there when DeVille did disappear from in-ring action in the wake of that aforementioned SummerSlam loss, of course, but even with that in mind, her staggeringly bad singles record still needs to be seen to be believed. Number 4, Jey Uso was the first person to pin Roman Reigns on the main roster. A decade before he was manipulating his cousins at the head of the table, Roman Reigns was seen as the unstoppable heavy artillery within the Shield as the unit went about obliterating the roster, and it would be almost an entire year before any star was able to successfully pin the big dog to the mat for 3 seconds on the back of his debut in 2012. Said pin came in the middle of an 11-on-3 Raw handicap match involving the Hounds of Justice taking on Daniel Bryan, R-Truth, Rob Van Dam, the primetime players Dolph Ziggler, Justin Gabriel, Kofi Kingston, Zack Ryder, and the Usos. What a surreal lineup. And in a moment that now feels too perfect to be true, a decade before he finally superkicked his way out from under the thumb of the tribal chief, none other than Jey Uso was the man responsible for Reigns' first pinfall loss on WWE TV. WWE clearly knew from the second that Jey splashed Roman into oblivion in 2013 that this had the makings of one of the most captivating wrestling sagas of all time, and went about patiently watering this glorious seed for the subsequent decade. Clearly. Number 3, only 9 people have beaten Brock Lesnar since his 2012 return. In all honesty, the days of being stunned by a seemingly improbable Brock Lesnar stat should be long behind the average wrestling fan. The man is a one-of-a-kind phenomenon, but that still likely won't stop you from questioning the surprising fact that Lesnar has actually only been defeated by a grand total of 9 different wrestlers since he made his epic return to WWE in 2012. Just to put that into context, current World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins has been conquered by 5 different stars in singles action in just the last year. So Brock being able to go 11 years without even hitting double figures when it comes to the total number of different individuals to have bested him in the squared circle is frankly a little bit absurd. Number 2, no male star born in the 90s has ever won a WWE World Championship. While WWE has at least been smart enough to build towards the future when it comes to their women's division, giving 90s kids like Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, and Raquel Rodriguez the opportunity to make a name for themselves higher up the card in recent times, the same cannot be said when it comes to their aging men's division. At this current moment, there actually hasn't been a single men's world champion on the main roster who was born after the year 1987, with Bray Wyatt holding the honor of being the most recently born WWE/Universal champion. Over in AEW, 90s lads Hangman Adam Page and MJF have both reached the top of the male mountain, and New Japan Pro Wrestling has also seen the likes of Jay White and Will Ospreay hold men's world title gold too. Admittedly, if you were to include the NXT Championship, then Bron Breakker and Carmelo Hayes' big wins would have ended WWE's days of not having a 90s-born male top champ. However, with many not really classing that developmental strap as an out-and-out world title, it seems WWE is still astoundingly waiting for their first ever 90s WWE/World Heavyweight Champion. Number 1, Roxan Perez is the first WWE Superstar to perform on Smackdown who is younger than the show. WWE do actually have a former champion on their books who is so young they actually weren't alive when the show she performed on was created. Madness. Back when Roxan Perez showed up in a 6-person tag bout on SmackDown in October 2022, the former NXT Women's Champion actually became the first star to appear on the Blue Show who was born after its debut in 1999. Perez's birthday is November 5th, 2001, meaning that when she first arrived on this balmy planet, The Rock was fighting Booker T over the WCW Heavyweight Championship on the Blue brand. And with the talented youngster already being one of WWE's youngest ever champs after picking up that aforementioned piece of NXT gold in late 2022 at the age of 21, Perez currently feels like a safe bet for the first ever Naughty's main roster champ too, obviously not counting Nicholas. It does feel pretty insane to say that we're now living in a time when a star is actually younger than the WWE program they're performing on, but no matter how fake and bizarre that fact may initially seem, you better believe it's the terrifying truth, my friends. And that's our list of any other fascinating WWE facts that sound fake but will blow your mind. Well, let us know all about them in the comment section right down below, and don't forget to like, share, and click on that subscribe button while you're down there. Also, if you're a fan of this sort of stuff, then please head on over to whatculture.com and find some more fantastic articles just like the one this video you're watching right now is based on. I've been Gareth from What Culture Wrestling. Cheers for watching this video today. Now go and check out some more What Culture Wrestling goodness on the channel and have yourself the best of days. Bye bye!